guys can get on to taking Mama out to Red Lobster or Red Crib, or you've got T-bones on the grill or something, that you're going to honor the mothers in your life. I hope that's what's going to happen today. We're in chapter 9 of Joshua today, and we're going to eventually get to it. But before we do, I want to just share with you a little bit. We're talking about the subject of courage, as according to what Joshua teaches us. The book of Joshua is an amazing book, and you'll find great things about the subject of courage throughout the first 14 chapters of the book of Joshua. But let me just begin with some serious truths, and it's not in your notes, but I'm going to encourage you to write this down, because this is absolute gold, and it's worth your writing, okay? So if you haven't, if you're like, well, it's not my notes, well, let's flip it over and write it down in between the lines or something, because this is gold, okay? You ready? I'm gonna share with you the absolute truth. Mothers are the most courageous people on the planet. It got really quiet. Nobody said nothing, so I'm going to say it again. Mothers are the most courageous people on the planet.
Amen.
That's right. Mothers are the most courageous people on the planet. Now, I've got 3 reasons to share with you why this is the case. The first one is this. Mothers will do whatever it takes to provide for their children. Mothers will do whatever it takes to make sure that their kids have what it is that they need. I've seen mothers work overtime. I've seen mothers work 2 jobs and 3 jobs. I've seen mamas elbow their husband and say, go get another job in order to do something for their children. But mothers will do whatever it takes to make sure that their children are provided for. The second one is this. Mothers will do whatever it takes to protect their children. That's an important one that you need to know. If you ever want to get bruised, or you want a good workout, come between a mama and her baby. See how that works out for you, okay? Mothers will do whatever it takes to protect their babies. A quick short story on my brother. Back when he was 2 and I was 7. We were on vacation in Texas, right? We were staying at the 8 Days Inn. Back when there wasn't 8 Days Inn. Now it's just Days Inn. I guess they don't want you to stay for 8 days anymore. I don't know. But anyway. So we're at the 8 Days Inn, and we have decided to go swimming in the swimming pool. My brother, the adventurous guy that he is, decides to jump into the pool without floaties. And if you know my brother, you know how that goes over for him. My mother, dressed in polyester, does a flying leap from the lounge chair she's on into the pool to get my baby brother. And I'm just like watching it, amazed. That's amazing. I mean, polyester, that's, you know. Mamas will do whatever it takes to protect their babies. And some of you guys are thinking about maybe some times when your mama intervened on your behalf in a way that made you just, yes ma'am, whatever you say. You know mamas will do whatever it takes to protect their babies. And the third one is this. The third reason why I say mamas are the most courageous people on the planet is because of this. Mamas will be mamas, knowing what it does to the body. I'm a guy. Obviously, I don't know what a sugar scrub's for. I think it's like something to put on cheesecake or something. But anyway, I know that I was there when all 3 of my children were born. And let me just put something real clear, man. I don't know about you, but I'm grateful that life's not fair. Because if life were fair, we'd have to carry the second one. And that ain't happening. There would be a whole bunch of only children in the world. I'm just telling you straight up. But yet, mamas will be mamas by choice. I want to have children. And I'm willing to do this thing to my body regardless. I want to be a mom. I want to do this. And that's courage, man. You won't find that in this gender. Not like that. No. And then I think about my wife. this past week, she has wrestled about graduation and what was to take place. We were coming up and Hope Shelby moved from the dorm apartment into a little house there off campus. And she's on the 3rd floor, by the way. And so we had to move from there down to this little house. And in so doing, we also had to see about bringing in some furniture. Well, after the graduation, we wanted to have a reception. And my wife, all week, has been planning and preparing and menu detailing and meeting room renting at a hotel and scheming and I mean everything. And we got done yesterday. And we got in the truck to head back to her parents' house, and she said, I'm exhausted. And I thought, yeah, but that's because you love your baby. You're going to do whatever it takes, you know, to make sure that your babies are taken care of. And so I'm telling you, when I say mamas are the most courageous people on the planet, I firmly believe that. And we guys, I'm telling you, I'm sorry. Not like that. And so that's what I want to share with you some truths. If you are taking notes, and Keith, I got a little bit of bass feedback, just so you know. There's this thing about courage and honor that you need to know. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to share with you a power statement, and it's really simple. Okay, it's really simple. It's this: courage and honor are synonymous. Courage and honor are synonymous. One cannot exist without the other. If you are courageous, then there is honor in your actions. If you are honorable, there's courage in your actions. Courage and honor are synonymous. Now, we've been working through this book of Joshua talking about courage. And again, here's the simple definition that I pulled off of dictionary.com. And it's real simple as this: it's the mental or moral strength to withstand, endure, and persevere through difficulty, danger, or fear. And about that time, you need to look at the mother in your life and say, that's you, Mama. You've endured, you've withstood, you have persevered through some dangers, some difficulties, some fearful times in your life. This is just part of your DNA. Mamas are the most courageous people on the planet. But the definition for honor is really simple. It means high regard. It means high respect and high esteem. And I thought, and Charlotte didn't plan this, but the one verse that she pulls out of Scripture was about how she said, I saw the Lord, what? High and lifted up with honor. That's what that was all about. Like the perfect verse. You didn't know that, did you? It was like the coolest thing in the world. That's what honor means. It means high respect, high regard, high esteem. And so when courage is a part of our story, then we are acting with high regard and high respect and high esteem. And because of the fact that we act with high regard and high respect and high esteem, it calls us to be courageous. It calls us to be courageous. Now, here's something about honor that, okay, forgive me for a second, but this is not my OCD kicking in, but it's close. I'm trying to get myself where I'm not getting unraveled. Okay, sorry. Commercial break. All right. So there's two approaches to honor, two components that I want to share with you right quick, and they're really simple. The first approach to honor is this. It is to give honor. It is to give honor. And when we give honor, what we're doing is we are saying, you are of high respect. You are of high regard. You are of high esteem. You go to the grocery store and you've got a handful of coupons. Anybody do coupons anymore? 1, 2, 3. Okay, you start to pop up. Okay. A man. Wow, good.
You didn't see the rest of that.
Okay, I didn't see the rest of that. Sorry. Did you hear that? He is not willing to do coupons. That's because he's a man. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. That's another level of courage. But anyway, this subject of giving honor. If you go to the grocery store with coupons, what do you do? You walk in with a basket full of groceries up to the register, you pull everything out, you put it on the belt, and they ring everything up. They say it's $179, and then you hand them a pile of coupons like this and say, "Here, I want you to do what? Honor these, right? I want you to honor these, and you want them to honor the coupons." And then they say, "Okay, well, let's knock your bill down to $15.72, right? Wouldn't that be great? That'd be great." And that's when they say, and so when you say, "Yes, let me write a check." Now, play with me on this, because when you write a check, what that means is it's a promise to pay. And I promise to honor this debt that I will pay through this transaction. You catching me? Honor is something that we give. Today, maybe you plan to honor your mother. And you're going to maybe take her out to dinner at a really nice restaurant. Maybe you're going to cook a really fantastic meal for her. But maybe then you're going to bring her back to the house, you're going to put her in the recliner, and then what you're going to do is you're going to rub her feet with some of that sugar scrub that's going on, right? Right? Some of you guys are like, come on, high esteem, high regard, make it happen, right? You say, "Oh man, I'm digging myself a hole." The second approach is to live with honor. And this is important because sometimes we can say, well, okay, the opposite of giving honor is to receive honor, right? Well, the truth of the matter is the only way you can receive honor is if you are honorable. And if you are honorable, that means that you hold yourself in high regard. You see yourself as God sees you. To be honest, Scripture says we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Scripture says that before our days were numbered, He already had His eye on us, waiting in anticipation of our birth into His world. He tells the people of Israel, "You are my royal priesthood. You are my holy nation. You are my prized possession, my most valued treasure." That means that the Lord honors Israel with high regard, high respect. He sees them as top shelf. Top shelf. And so when we live with honor, it says, "I'm a child of the King. I am honorable." And when we live with honor, then that's when we are honored. Truly. Now, one of the things about honor is this: we oftentimes think that well, I'll get there in a minute. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm sorry. I do that every once in a while. Great fire aim. We've been working through Joshua, and there's 5 lessons we've worked through so far, and we're gonna process, just revisit. The first one we talked about was to stand with courage. If we have courage to stand, if you take the word courage out and put the word honor in, then what you have is you have this idea of standing honorably. That means the firm foundation, which is the word of Christ, the evidence of the Lord's presence in your life and the history that has been with you, is what you stand on. That is your firm foundation. And you stand there in high regard and in high respect for what you are standing upon. So to stand courageously means to stand honorably. The next week we talked about courage to step. And we talked about how if the Lord goes first and we step in faith, then the Lord will do supernatural things in our life. By the way, just so you know, this is the 5th Sunday. Counting this Sunday, 5 Sundays ago, that's when we said we want to begin something in doing a makeover on our front platform. And there were people who stepped out in faith, and the Lord went first. And I'm just going to tell you that the deadline of Mother's Day was the goal. And supernatural things happened because this exceeded our expectations. Big time. Where it was fearful that it would exceed our budget, it didn't. And God has been so good and faithful to do this. So to courageously step in faith means to step honorably. Means to step honorably. That the Lord will allow me high regard in how I move, how I work. Then we talked about teaching, courage to teach, that the Lord met me here, and this is symbolized by the altar that I built on the other side of my Jordan. This being said, whenever we have the courage to teach, that translates into teaching honorably. What I have to say matters to you. How I live my testimony matters to you. It is of high regard and it is of value. To march, courage to march upon your enemy's stronghold, which was Jericho, remember? Means to march honorably. This is the mission that the Lord has given us. This is the battle call that He has given us, and we are going to march honorably, with high regard, with high respect, with high esteem, seeing up. Last week, Cecil preached on this idea of courage to confess, and you can translate that to mean confessing honorably. Hey, the Lord says, I am fearfully and wonderfully made, but yet there's some things that are in my life that I need to deal with because they reduce my being this. And so I want to be as God ordained me to be. And so I want to deal with this sin. So even that, you can confess and do so honorably because this is who the Lord is creating you. Are you with me? This brings us to today. And I'm going to share a simple little statement, and then we're going to move into the Monty Nichols Revised Standard Version of what this story in chapter 9 is. Okay? So we'll make it hopefully quick. Courage to stand, courage to step, courage to teach, courage to march, courage to confess brings us to courage to honor. Well, can't really honor honorably, right? So this is what this means. Courage to honor means I'm going to honor regardless. I'm going to honor regardless. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? Well, we're going to find out in this story a little bit about Joshua and what he has to do with. So let's do this, okay? I'm going to pray. Just a quick prayer to ask God's blessing that I'm going to mess this story up. Nobody wants me to mess this up, right? No. It's going on tape, so please. Let's pray. Father God, this is your story. And it's powerful for us today. May we exalt you. May we see us as you see us. May we see one another as you see us. May you be praised. In Jesus' name. Amen. Here's the story. Joshua has led the people of Israel across the Jordan River into the promised land, the land that God had ordained would be the dwelling place for the people of Israel. As they come into the promised land, they have seen Jericho fall. They have seen their conflict A not work out too well. And then they have seen that be resolved and work into good standing. And they've seen the plunder of the nation of A, the village of A, work into their good. Chapter 9 begins with this. All of the nations of Canaan have had a powwow, and they are saying to each other, these Israelites are coming with full force, and they're going to wait us out unless we do something different. Now, we've always not fought together very well, but this time we need to fight together. We need to band together. We need to fight as one against this Israelite nation because they're coming with both barrels. So that's what we need to do. And so that's what many of the nations in the Canaan land said. Let's do. There was one little village, one little region called Gibeon. Now Gibeon had a different approach. They said, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm not so excited about that idea of losing life and being stupid, you know. So we're gonna do something a little different. This is what they did. They sent some of their women, some of their children. It doesn't say this, but I see this reading into the lines, okay? Sent some of the women and some of the children, sent some of their crippled and some of their handicapped. And they dressed them in worn out clothing. I mean, like 7th generation hand-me-downs, you know what I'm saying? Some of you are saying, what's wrong with 7th generation hand-me-downs? I got those right. And put shoes on them that the soles are worn out on. And then they pack a lunch for them. The lunch is moldy bread. And for drink, they give them wineskins of spoiled wine. And the wineskins are cracking and breaking and really not doing a good job. And they give them donkeys to ride that are just sickly looking. And I mean, they're really painting a picture. And they put their people on these donkeys and they begin to march. Now the problem is this, is that Gibeon was about 3 days' journey from where Israel was camping, okay? Around the corner, literally, around the corner. But they come to the Israelite campground and they say to them, we have traveled a long way. We've heard about how God is bringing Israel across into the promised land and how he's wiping out the people. And we're way over on the other side of the land. But we've come to ask you for a treaty. Do you see anything wrong with these stories so far? They're presenting themselves in light that's not true. And Joshua says, well, now, wait a minute. How do I know what you're telling me is true? And they said, well, look at us. Our clothing is absolutely dust covered from the hours and days and maybe even weeks of walking along the dusty roads. Look at our animals. They're absolutely worn out from the journey. This bread that's in my lunch bag is moldy now, but it was fresh out of the oven when we put it into our sack. And the wineskin was brand new fresh wineskin, and the wine was good wine when we left. But it's been so long since we left and came to see you that all of our food supplies are worn out, and we're covered in dust from our road journeys. So yeah, there's the evidence. Here's the problem. You see, what Joshua did is that Joshua looked at the evidence, but he didn't consult the Lord's wisdom. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Well, that's what Joshua was doing. He was looking down at the evidence saying, well, you could be telling me the truth. He didn't listen to what the Lord was saying. And so Joshua then says, okay, I'll tell you what, you guys, if you say that you're really from so far away, and you've traveled so far, it really looks like you have, and if you're that far over on the border of the promised land, we're probably not going to get that far anyway, so we'll grant this petition to you. We'll grant this treaty to you. We'll tell you that we're not going to harm you. We're going to let you live. Okay? We'll let you live. And so you can go on your way. And the people of Gibeon, they travel that long journey around the corner back to their village. And it wasn't long after this that Joshua and Israel learned about this deception. Have you ever been sold a bill of goods? Have you ever maybe found something on Craigslist or eBay or Facebook Marketplace and said, that looks really good. Maybe it's a car. Maybe you found a used car and it says one owner, low miles, new tires, mint condition. And you call the guy and say, man, that's an unbelievable price for that car. And he says, yeah, I haven't sold it yet. You want to come look at it? Sure, I'm going to look at it. And so you get there to a Walmart parking lot, because that's where you should always meet somebody for Craigslist. Got this thing? Meet him at Walmart parking lot, and he pulls up, and you're like, man, it's not quite so mint, you know? But the price is good. The tires, I don't know if they're new tires, but the price is good. Well, I'll tell you what. And so you have them a little bit more, and you actually get them to come down a bit more on the price. And he says, all right, fine, here. I'm really just hurt myself to sell it to you for such a cheap price. But here you go. You're going to really love this car. It's a fantastic, it's a collector's vintage type thing, you know. Thanks, man. Here you go. Give me the deed. Great. See you later. And of course, because you drove there, you can't drive it home. You have to come back and get it. So whenever you come back to get it, that's when you find out there's a crack in the manifold. The transmission won't shift from second to third. And you're like going, ah. Anybody ever been there? Maybe not with a car purchase or something like that. Somebody sold you a bill of goods. Ah, that's what happened to Joshua and Israel. They said, you lied to us. So they go to Gibeon. And as they walk into the village, they approach the people and they said, man, you guys lied. Why did you lie to me about such a thing? I want you to hear what it says here in verse 24. We did it because we, your servants, were clearly told that the Lord your God commanded his servant Moses to give you this entire land and to destroy all the people living in it. So we feared greatly for our lives because of you. That is why we have done this. Now we are at your mercy. Do to us whatever you think is right. What they were leaning on was, yeah, we lied to you, but we thought you would be honorable. And we thought you would hold up to your end of the bargain, even though we deceived you. And this is what's important about this story. You see, Joshua said, yes, you're right. You did deceive us. But we will honor this treaty. And the reason that he gave them is it's not because of you. It's not about your preservation. It's about the regard that I have for the people of Israel as the holy priesthood and the nation of God. It was the self-honor that Israel had. They said, no, we've got to hold our end of the bargain and say, no, I'm sorry. We're going to hold our end of the deal because we are honorable. You see, the thing about honor is that it's real easy to give honor and expect honor in return, right? It's like Christmas presents, right? Yeah, you always feel bad when somebody gets you a Christmas present. Oh, I didn't get you anything. Right? We do that with honor, I think, sometimes. I give you honor, and you're going to give me honor back. But then there are times when things like this happen, and somebody says stuff to you, or about you, or does things to you that are not honorable. And so our reaction, our response, our desire is to throat punch them. Right? Sometimes. And some of you are like, well, that sounds rather vicious. Okay, we'll call it what you want. Want to pour diesel fuel all over their grass. Want to poison their dog. Want to, and some of you are like, wow, somebody have to do something really bad to me to do something. But think about it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of times when somebody does something dishonorable to me, my reaction is, I'm cutting off my honor that I'm giving you now. That's not what Joshua's teaching is here. That's not what Joshua's teaching. Joshua says that I want to honor my word. I want to honor my promise. I want to honor what I say I'm going to do, but I'm not going to do it because of you. I'm going to do it because of the integrity of my honor. That's an important lesson for us. It's a real important lesson for us. Matthew 5, verses 43 through 48. Let me see if I can pull this up right quick. I'd like to read it for us. Jesus is teaching about loving your enemies. And he says this. He says, you've heard the law that says love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say love your enemies. See them in high regard. See them in high respect. See them as God sees them, because God sent his son to die for them too. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven. For he gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you live only for those who love you, what reward is there for that? If you only honor those who are going to honor you back, where's the good in that? That's what he's saying. He then goes on and says, even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. This idea of honor, to give honor, and to live with honor, it is then when we are honorable. Now, when we give honor to somebody who we would really rather not, it takes courage. Maybe there's somebody in your life that has hurt you. Maybe someone in your life has done things to your family. Mamas, maybe somebody came after your babies. To give honor, as God says to give honor, to hold in high regard and high esteem, that takes courage. That takes courage. And it is definitely a mental or moral strength to persevere through difficulty. And to show honor to somebody that's not really honorable, because your honor has to be intact. That takes courage. To see people as Jesus sees people is a prayer to pray. Maybe you're thinking of somebody right now that's done something or said something or has done what the Gibeons have done. They've hurt, they've lied, they've misrepresented, they've done something to be less than honorable. And you're kind of got that reaction going on. I really want to I want to pour sugar in your gas tank. I want to do something to dishonor you. I really have this desire in me to just return the dishonor. Yeah, Joshua is saying, no, it's because of who God says I am. I am royal priesthood. I'm a holy nation. I am children of the Most High God. It's because of that I have to honor my word. Maybe there's somebody in your life that's I'm having trouble. Help me, God. I'm about you to bow your head for a second. Just keep your heads bowed, and in just a second, I'm going to ask you to respond. It's a yes or no question. You don't have to answer out loud. In fact, if you do, it'll really kind of weird me out. But do you want to live with honor? Would you want to live with honor? Do you have the understanding that to live an honorable life, even when I'm being dishonored, requires courage? Yeah. So I want to pray for you. Here's how I want to pray specifically. I'm not going to call out any names, and this is going to be a courage thing on your behalf, okay? So what I'm going to invite you to do is, just as you say, yes, there's somebody in my life who I need to honor because of who God says I am. Will you pray for me that I'll have courage to do so? I'm going to invite you, if that's you, I'm going to invite you to make eye contact with me. And I won't call you out, yes. I won't call you out. But if there's somebody in your life, yes, that you really, yes, that you really want to make sure that I got to deal with somebody, yes. I want to have courage to honor them because that's who God says they are. God says that they are supposed to be fearfully and wonderfully made, yes. God says that they're invited to be a part of the same royal priesthood and holy nation that you are. So God, help me to see them as you see them and help me to show them honor and give me the courage to do so. Yes. All right, let's pray. Father God in heaven, you know all things. You are the mighty God. You are the everlasting Father. Jesus, we come together as the church, as the body and the bride of Christ. Dear Father, in the Old Testament, we're referred to as the royal priesthood, the holy nation. Father God, may we live with honor. May we live into that, how we see the church to be. Father God, may we be a people of honor, even when it's difficult. May we respond and react with courage. Give to us, dear God, a courage to be honorable, even when it's difficult. And may we do so not because they deserve our honor, but because you say they are to be honorable, just as we are to be honorable. And in so doing, dear Father, would you increase our faith and our dependence upon you. Lord, you do amazing things. You do mighty works. And Father God, I praise you for all that you've done thus far. For these, dear Father, who were courageous to make eye contact with me, Father, I just simply pray for them that you give to them the courage, dear God, to treat with honor those, dear God, who have been dishonorable to them. Father, would you give to them the courage, dear God, to be honorable, not for the benefit of those, dear God, who will be the recipients of that honor, but because you say that these in this congregation are honorable. And may they see themselves in high regard and high esteem as you say they are. Not arrogant, not puffed up, but children of the Most High God. And Father, I pray that because of this, dear Jesus, may the courage to be honorable, may that multiply, and may courage beget courage, and may there be fruit that produces fruit. In Jesus' name I pray. Everybody said, amen. Amen. Thank you for coming. I want to thank you, mothers, for the role that you play in life. And in just a minute, we're going to dismiss, and I would hope that moms, that your families will spoil you rotten today. I pray that you won't have to lift a single hand to do dishes. I hope that you get to enjoy that sugar scrub. Not the guys, you know, hopefully the ladies. And I pray that moms today, that you are honored and high regard. Would you stand as I pray a prayer of benediction? Father God in heaven, I thank you. You've been very faithful. And you're always present and you're always mindful of us. And for that, dear God, I give you praise and thanks. You are the one true God. Today I pray, Jesus, may we worship you. From this moment as we close this service, this time together, until the time that we come together again, Father, may we be courageous. For you called us to be courageous. And I pray that we would be honorable as you've called us to be honorable. Be with those who will travel, direct their steps, guard their heart. And Lord, I pray that you bless the church. Have your way, I pray. In Jesus' name. Everybody said, I love you. Dismissed.